Swarita Venuna Shushtu Chumbitam. Swarita Venuna, that they're meditating on the Swarita Venuna, the beautiful melodious flute. Shushtu Chumbitam, that is, that they visualize this flute gets regularly kissed by Krishna's lotus lips. And Itara Raga Smaranam Runam, that the the taste of Krishna's lips makes us forget everything else. This theme that anything connected with Krishna makes one forget everything else. This will come at the end of the Bhagavatam also, the last verses. Yad rasamrutruptasya na anyatra rati syad kvachit. When one gets this rasa, then no other rasa will allure a person. Vitara viranas te ramritam. So, O Krishna, please come and bestow upon us that nectar of your lips. That is the prayer over here. You can sing this. The gopis, their love for Krishna is completely transcendental. And at the same time, when we use, say, the word transcendental, what does that mean exactly? What do you think transcendental means? Anyone?
Beyond time.
Beyond infinite calculations.
Beyond three words.
Okay, let's one answer.
Beyond time and space.
Okay, beyond time and space, then beyond
Three words.
beyond three modes. Okay, then spiritual. Okay, is transcendental synonym of spiritual? Maybe let's okay. Let's put it beyond material. Is that right?
Yeah.
Beyond material. Mhm. So, anything else? Okay, so now we often pure, pure and supreme consciousness. Okay, their love is, okay, their consciousness is pure, we can say. What do you mean by supreme consciousness? Only Krishna's consciousness is supreme, isn't it? Or you could say the highest level of consciousness, you could say. Supreme consciousness. I don't think the word used like that. It's now one of the things about bhakti we discussed in previous session that how there is material desire or material emotion. Then there is a state of desirelessness, and we discussed how. And then there is spiritual desire and spiritual emotion. So now, what exactly are we trying to?
So there is difference with that thing.
Oh, okay.
So like. The extension for let's say one. This one?
Look a little odd now. This makes you want to
It's there on your lot.
this is not. Maybe you could put the on the can. This at the stand. You can put this there.
I think this is. So people will say. Yeah. Is this better now? That's fine. Is the lighting was lighting will be behind this.
Lighting behind me should not be there. Opening that won't help. One option could be white. Is the light more?
There is no option, bro.
Good lighting.
This way now. Is it better?
Yeah.
Somewhere here.
You're recording.
Wait for it. Is it option in the phone?
Here we can. From here it's better in the camera position.
That's I want to the side.
Yes, we just take.
Yeah, better. Better. Keep some books and lift the book.
Oh, project also went off. Right now.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yes. Better than.
అక్కడ పోయింది అక్కడ
You remember it? Okay. We'll take some. Actually, we can continue. I don't need the project. So, yeah, yours is on.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about the state of desire, that from the state of material desires or worldly desires, we go to at the Brahman, there is no desire. At the spiritual level, there is desire. So now, similarly, we discussed earlier how there are emotions, how we what peace is there, but then anxiety for Krishna is higher than peace. So there are, in the spiritual domain, there are desires and emotions. And now, if there are desires and emotions, then there have to be objects for what do we feel desire for? What do we feel emotion about? There have to be objects. And so the spiritual world is filled with forms. We have Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Lila. So now each of these triggers emotions, it triggers desires. Yashodama hears the name of Krishna, Govinda, Gopala. That triggers emotion, that triggers desires. Using the emotions and desires interchangeably. There's a technical difference, which is not always observed in the use of these words. Generally, emotions are influent. Emotions are the result of information flow. Hare Krishna. Okay, now it is better. So when it comes inside us, first it's emotion, then it grows into desire, and then desire pushes our karmendriyas. But the point is, for all this to happen, there have to be some objects in the outside world. So the fact that there are objects is associated with Nama Rupa Guna. Nama is an object which goes to our Shravanendriya, to our Shrotra. Then Guna, Rupa, Guna, different Gunas will go to different things. Rupa primarily comes to our eyes. So the bhakti while it is spiritual, no doubt, and all the emotions and desires and the love therein that is there, it's spiritual. At the same time, it is it is embodied spirituality. Embodied spirituality means that in the spiritual world there are forms, and in the sense that there are bodies. Now, of course, in the spiritual world, the soul and the body are the same. In one sense, you could say the body is spiritual. So, in that sense, that there's no difference between the soul and the body in the spiritual world. But at the same time, it is a fact that there are bodies. So, Krishna has a form, Yashoda Maya has a form, and Yashoda Maya offers food to Krishna. So Krishna has a mouth and she offers the food to Krishna, and one Krishna takes the food. Now we could say that in the spiritual world everything is eternal. So does the food eternally stay in Krishna's belly? Or does the food change its form? When they cook, does the food change its form? Yeah, there are raw materials, and the raw materials you make it into food. So the point is that yes, everything in the spiritual world is eternal. But the supreme principle of spiritual world is that everything is meant to enhance the reciprocation of love between Krishna and his devotees. Everything. So whatever is required for enhancing that rasa of love, rasa of emotions, that is best. So therefore, in the spiritual world, we have Krishna sometimes being afraid of Mother Yashoda. Krishna is God. How can he be afraid? That's what Kunti Maharaj said. He appeared Vibheti. So there is, for in the presence of God, all fear goes away. Vajahure mana nandanandana abhaya charanarave. But then we have the one who drives away fear is filled with fear. How can he be filled with it? Vaktram niniya bhaya bhavanaya sitasya. Kunti Maharaj says, Satam kanetra damodara ashtaka. So the point is, that's not mundane fear. If that fear is required for the reciprocation of love between Krishna and his devotees, that fear comes in. We say there is no vyadha, there is no disease in the spiritual world. But there is a famous pastime where Krishna gets a headache. How can Krishna get a headache? Well, Krishna can't get a headache till he wants to get a headache. That means for us, headache comes unwanted. Unless somebody wants an excuse to not go to work or not do something. But generally, for Krishna, the headache is simply a way for his devotees to express love and their service to. So the point is, in the spiritual world, we could say at one level, everything is eternal. Everything is, as you use the word, transcendental. That is true. But what is even more important is that everything is meant for love, for the reciprocation of love. And whatever is required for the enhancement of love, that is there. That's why Krishna, fundamentally, Krishna is God, but he doesn't appear like God. Krishna acts like a small child. Why are we discussing all this in this verse? That many of these points, all of you know, but I'm giving this as a background that for us, when we talk about love in this world, say we consider, say, a mother's love, mother and child love, that to be pure. Prabhupada say that is that is the closest we get to a selfless love in this world. But when we talk about, say, the love between a man and a woman, that immediately we call that as lust, and we say that is impure. While there is some truth to that analysis, it's also true that it is Krishna who has arranged through this mechanism by which new life comes into this world. And Krishna himself said, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu tamosmi martashu. So Is it that one form of love is completely pure, another form of love is completely impure in this world? Well, rather than thinking of it in that way, when it comes to now, what we understand is that in the spiritual world, there are various ways in which love is reciprocated. And whatever happens in this world is a reflection of that. Now, the key point is rather than considering, say, we say this love is pure and this love is impure. Now, we may say, what is the difference? Both are forms of affection between two people. But the pure and the impure, it is considered like that because of the level of forgetfulness that comes through it. Generally, if we consider the mother cares for a child, in that attraction, there is mother is completely absorbed in thinking of the child. But then generally within that, mother understands taking care of the child. There is, I have to pray to God that may God keep the child safe. And generally, the chance of remembrance, so forgetfulness is less over here, but forgetfulness is much more over here. And there is a attraction between the male and the female. It's not again necessary, but it is the chance is much more. The the chance of people getting physically infatuated with each other, and then the physical side of the affection making one completely forget anything higher. That the chance is it is not always there. Generally, any relationship to be mature, it gradually grows beyond the physical side. Physical side might be there, but it goes beyond the physical side. People care for each other. Say, if somebody falls sick, then the other person is there to take care. So that relationship grows beyond the physical side, but the physical side is often a very significant part of the relationship. And so it's rather than consider, because the word pure and impure has a lot of meanings to it. Now, when it is within the boundaries of dharma, it is not impure in that sense. Certainly, outside the boundaries of dharma, outside of marriage, definitely it is. But the point is that we approach relationships and the love expressed in this relationship, in these relationships, with certain filters. Now, in most traditions, this male-female affection is considered to be a very private thing that is not to be publicly exhibited. And now modern culture or postmodern culture is somewhat different. So when we consider one love to be pure, another love to be somewhat impure, it is rather than thinking of it terms of the purity and impurity, it's more in terms of the potential for forgetfulness. That is much, much more. And there are so many other things in it. A mother, when she has love for a child, the chance that she'll fall madly in love with someone else's child and then forget her duty is much less. But in the male attraction, that attraction can go very easily beyond the boundaries of that bonds. So the potential for that form of affection to take a person away from God is much, much greater. However, that does not mean that that form of affection itself is impure. So they're two different things. One is the expression of affection, and the other is the potential for that expression of affection to escalate and take one away from Krishna and take one away even from morality in this world. Now, in the spiritual domain, whatever is the form of expression of affection in this world, that is there in the spiritual world also. What means is, say, when we read verses about how Mother Yashoda, she's filled with love for Krishna, as she's Krishna. Then, when we hear that as she sees Krishna, breasts start overflowing with milk, and then she comes, Krishna drinks milk from her, or she feeds Krishna in the face. From that, it just we see that as an expression of affection. But when we verses like this, where there is reference to kissing between Gopi and Krishna, the previous verse talk about putting your feet on the horse. Visually inside us, what is going on over? Is there it starts very mundane. So now the fact is that in the spiritual world, in Hare. So,
Wants to hear this again and
I appreciate your devotional speculation. So, so basically, whatever is in the material world, it is present now. Okay, I have to qualify the statement that whatever is foundational in the material world, whatever is central in the material world, is there in its pure form in the spiritual world. That does not mean that every single thing that is there in the material world is there in the spiritual world. So, because the material world is a reflection. Now, we could say the reflection, what is there, has to be there in the original. Not necessarily. In the reflection, there can be distortions also. See, the material world is considered to be like the example is the upside down lake. Upside down tree. So, in the water, the tree is being reflected. Now, if the water starts moving, then we may see shapes in the reflection that may not be there in the original also. So there are many things in the material world that are not there in the spiritual world. So it's not that everything in the material world, in all its details, say for example, there is crime in the material world. Now we may say, "Sir, Krishna steals butter," but that is not crime. To call it crime is a crime. It's a pure expression of affection. But it is done in a particular way to trigger particular emotions in the spiritual domain. So like that, there are many things in this material world which have no place in the spiritual world. Say, for example, the male-female attraction is there in this world, but that gets distorted. Sometimes there's male-male attraction, there is female-female attraction. Now, at a physical level, that is not there in the spiritual. That is because of certain karma and all those things happening in this world. So those are distorted reflections. But whatever is originally, foundationally there in this world, it has its original and pure expression in the spiritual world. Now, exactly what is the distortion here and what is the original there, that's the details. We won't go into that. But I'm talking about the principle is that from Krishna's perspective, from the devotee's perspective, it is simply the reciprocation of love. And Krishna is embracing Hanuman, and when Krishna is embracing Radha, it is simply a reciprocation of affection. Now, of course, that reciprocation of affection happens according to the particular rasa. So, according to the particular rasa means that, say, Mother Yashoda as a mother, she kisses Krishna's cheeks. Now, the gopis are in Madhurya rasa. their expression of affection may have particular forms that are specific only to that relationship. But at its essence, in the material world, we go from the form to the essence. Form to the essence means we go from the body to the soul. In the spiritual world, also, there is at one level form and the essence. The essential principle is the reciprocation of love. The specific expression of the reciprocation of love will depend on the particular mood of the relationship. I was giving a class on Damodar Leela to a Western audience in America, and there was this one Western woman. So, is anything? He said, I can't believe what I'm hearing. He said, what happened? You see that there is are you talking about? And she's completely, I don't know how she came for the program also. But anyway, so she says, I'm talking about somebody tying up a child. What's your concept? Is that child abuse? Now, the Damodar Lila is the furthest away from child abuse. Means on the natural filter that somebody has, on that it can see, somebody tying a child, you're putting that on your altar. What? So,
How do you handle such situation? One time.
no, it's difficult. So I basically explain that. I talk about how there are expressions of love that and the expressions of love and loving relationships, they are cultural specific. So if you consider corporal punishment, California is one of the most liberal states in the West. But I think till maybe 1996 or 98, corporal punishment was quite legal. It is considered a constant standard. Corporal punishment, parents beating their children. Now, in today's world, that is considered like, but also said that local children should not be beaten. But now is beating good? Of course not. But is it? So in the past, there were certain forms of expression of love, and within that, there are certain forms of disciplining that we may consider that we, by our standards, consider unacceptable, and we as a society are by no means we cannot see things in isolation. We can't just look at one thing, we have to look at the whole relationship. And within that relationship, what does this mean? The mother Yashoda, she's ready to give her life 100 times, 1,000,000 times over for Krishna's sake. So that is the extent of her love for Krishna. But within that love, in this particular incident, there is disciplining. There are practical points also about this that say in the past, now Krishna was living in a pastoral place. The past, many places, many homes didn't even have doors. Kids, that door inside and outside were not so well differentiated. So kids could just run here and there. They could go to forest. There could be there could be animals. There could be so many dangers. So there had to be this, and certain forms of disciplining were there at that time to protect children from danger. So it's an elaborate subject. It's not easy to explain. But over a period of time, if we talk about the cultural context, it becomes a little intelligent. But this is a Good example of how something might strike, something is it's a pure expression of affection, and that strikes someone as objectionable. So, like that, similarly for us, the male female attraction that is there in the spiritual world, in Krishna and the gopis, it's actually a pure expression of love. But for us, it may raise some red flags. And if we just understand this point that Krishna and the gopis, they are simply reciprocating your love with each other, we can get and put those red flags aside. Many of you may have heard the story of the horse. Once the horse was in a barn and the barn caught fire. The horse was neighing violently and it was tired, it couldn't come out. There's nobody, the owner was not there in the vicinity. The entire barn was burned, the fire was right next to the horse, and the owner came back and in the nick of time pulled the horse out, and the horse survived. Now, after that, then the barn was rebuilt, and then the horse was put over there. And the horse started neighing violently over there. No, they couldn't figure out what's the matter. There's no danger. Why is the horse neighing so violent? Then they called a collier, a horse whisperer, those were horse experts. And then they asked what had happened. So they said that actually, when they rebuilt the barn, they had repainted the barn with a mix of red and yellow colors. And see those colors reminded the horse of the fire. And that's why the horse started being violent. It became extremely restless. So what had happened was there had been fire earlier. There is no fire. But this side, what is it doing? It is reminding the horse of the fire. And that's why the horse is being agitated. And this is why, if we consider, say, this is the gets the direction also. Now, what happens is the ideals, let's look at various possibilities over here. That what happens that ideally for a person, the vision, the best situation is that there is clear differentiation. Differentiation means that the person understands this is the reality, this is the reflection. There is, okay, this is what is eternal, this is pure, this is what is such, this is pure. So differentiation, that reality now yatha manoviramate tatra manoviramate yatra manomeramatam tvai. That just as a young boy is attracted towards a young girl, or a young girl is attracted towards a young boy, my dear heart, Lord, let my heart be attracted towards you. In Bhaktivinoda Thakur song also there's come that just as my mind is presently attracted towards sense objects, let my mind become attracted towards you. So here what is happening is that the attraction in this world, the male-female attraction is very powerful. That's acknowledged. But once the person is convinced, this is the reflection, that is the reality. But when we see the power of the reflection, we are reminded of the reality. And then we are attracted toward the reality. This is the ideal situation. But there are various non-ideal scenarios. That this come to this level, a lot is required. First of all, there has to be philosophical a conviction that there is a categorical difference. This is material, this is spiritual, this is self-centered, that is selfless. So this differentiation comes from philosophical conviction. And this redirection, there is some level of purification required for this. Then, whenever I see the reflection, rather than just getting caught in the reflection, I know that is the reality. Let me become attracted to it. But there are many non-ideal scenarios. One might be the reality is seen as equal to the reflection. There are nowadays among young people, somehow for various reasons, going to the temple has become cool. Many young people, sometimes boys and girls, they may be boyfriend, girlfriends, they still come to the temple. And it's nice, they come to the caves. I don't know if it's happened in Hyderabad, but I've seen Mumbai and so many other places. So many young people are coming. It happens. So many places. It's become very cool going to the temple. So boys and girls go to the temple together. And, I was talking with one, and the boy, both of them were boy and girl were very. Uh, they were dressed in very contemporary fashion. Let's put it politely. So, so, so anyway, I was just happy to be at the temple, and they asked me some questions. Then they started talking. I talked a little bit philosophy. Then I asked the question, what attracts you to come to the temple? They says, they're a couple there, we are a couple here. What's you know, in the temples, there are all these couples. Nice. So now, okay, we can say at one level, yena kena prakara. Somehow or the other, people are coming to Krishna. That is good. But so the point is that one may not understand that there is a difference between reality and reflection. That one may start thinking that, okay, the love between the divine couple is just the same as the love between couples over here. Well, yes, in one sense. Ultimately, all love is a reflection, which is it's like a small drop that is an ocean. And this drop, it can take us toward the ocean, it can take us away from the ocean. It depends. So this is one scenario where one thinks the reality and the reflection to be equal. But what is even worse is that the reality reminds one of the reflection. That is very damaging. That means that one hears about these descriptions. Say one maybe sees some an actress Leela, or one hears about the Rafina pastime. We research verses like this, and then by that, our main desire that is especially rich. And in the Bhagavatam itself, after every pastime, there is a Kalashuti. There is a root of hearing that is described. And often it's quite extravagant fruits. One hears this will be freed from all actions. One who hears this pastime will never take birth again. One who hears this pastime will never be conscious of Yamaraj. And things now the Rasa all over here. Shraddhanvito anushrunayad tavaranayeya. If faithfully anushrunayad, Prabhupada elaborates this word systematically in Parampara we hear from those who have faith. Anushrunayad tavaranayeya. Two things will happen. Bhaktim param bhagvati pratilabhya kama. By this, bhakti for Krishna will increase in our heart. And the second result is kama, which is the rudro, the heart disease that we have kama. That is upper he knows. It will be completely destroyed from the heart. Achirena dhiraha. So it will happen, the person will become sober. So this is what I said earlier, that by hearing this, the attraction to the reality will increase and attraction to the reflection will decrease. So normally, if people watch some romantic or erotic movies, their mundane desires don't increase. But the bhakti desires will decrease. Will that happen? That will happen because if we hear this with the understanding that this is actually pure spiritual, then once we understand how enchanting the reality is, our attraction, the reflection. So, what reflect and that brings. So, this will it always happen to everyone? If somebody is not Shraddhamito, if somebody is not Anushranayat, doesn't have faith, this is transitional past, somebody doesn't have the accessibility to tradition. This is Monday. And if they think Monday, then Monday will increase. So that's why Prabhupada did this combination of when we talk about the Ras Leela. Ras Leela, Prabhupada both emphasize that it is confidential. But at the same time, he also made it accessible. Confidential, especially he disapproved if there are Bhagavad Saptas only on Ras. Now here, what we are doing is we are having this discussion, but Leon Pro ensured that it's only for 16 rounders. So at least some level of understanding is there, some level of spiritual purification is there. So there is a confidentiality to it. But at the same time, so Prabhupada is approved of somebody doing Bhagavad Saptas on the 10th canto alone, and especially in the Ras Panchadhyaya alone. But at the same time, Prabhupada also gives Krishna book. And in Krishna book, these pastimes are described. So he also gave it access. Now, Prabhupada asked these pastimes, he said that if you hear a pastime and you get access, then hear. That means not interested. But what Srila Prabhupada did was, when he took that, so we feel it is why we feel disturbed. And how do we deal with this? Disturbed, it is because of you could say misassociation memory. Let me give the example. Horse. The horse mistakes the barn, which is not fire, to be fire. The barns to be the fire. So similarly, what we do is we mistake Radha Krishna's pastimes. So the barn's color, it is mistaken to be fire. So similarly, the Krishna Gopi interactions, the Gopi interaction, they are mistaken to be mundane, mistaken to be lust, or expressions of lust primarily. So if this is happening, then what is to be done? So with that horse, is that you just can't keep horse over there. It's still too traumatized. You have to discipline. Now, after some time, with that barn next to this barn, and the horse comes over here and says, "This when mundane person hearing this can actually feel the sign of there's something secret, there's something special, something divine about this song. Maybe wait for a few years to get purified. But in association of devotees with proper context, we can hear this. So the whole point we're discussing today is that for us, there is we need to have this differentiation between philosophers, reflection and reality, and then we are the reflection reminds us of reality, not that the reality reminds us. If you are happy, then the discussion intimate parts cannot put out devotion in a very powerful way. So this is the situation. This is a reality finding the reflection that we don't want. So since this is important, I mean tomorrow is the last day, but are there any questions about this at this point?
Prabhu once I read Prabhupada saying there is no sex in act of sex in Vaikuntha in the court of Prabhupada. And, sometimes some others told it's only found between good. I am able to understand the context in this explaining. What is it? Is it male in India?
Fine. How to answer this question? Because I've seen that it's a very confidential subject.
Okay.
So this robust is there out about it. Have is and the longing to satisfy Krishna's senses is love. Now, it is not desire to satisfy Krishna, desire to satisfy Krishna's senses. So, as I said, in the spiritual way, it's embodied. Yashoda doesn't just love Krishna, she feels Krishna. So, Krishna's tongue is Radha also all over. Substance to shadow can start happening. So it's best not to go into those details. Okay.
So I have one more question.
Yeah.
The Gopika that you're explaining, it is related to Bhama Vrindavan, or is it the same when it comes to Goloka Vrindavan? Because a couple of instances, like when you say Krishna might fall sick if he doesn't eat properly, that means there is a fear of somebody getting sick or maybe dying also. I don't know.
Hmm.
Right? Which is not even seen in Goloka Vrindavan. But such emotions are
Shelter of Krishna. There are only one specific in the spiritual world. Now, but in the spiritual world, there's a Krishna. It's not at all an effect of time if it happens in the spiritual world. So whatever is required for the reciprocation of love in Krishna and Gopi, Krishna and Vijayasini, that happens. So, but there are no no being opposed. The elephant's strength coming out when it is tied up. So like that, there is some opposition. And that opposition enhances the flavor of the love.
So this word called Vishnu that you're seeing here, there may not be Vishnu or Narayan in the Goloka. Because
Well, as I said, Nandahara is not a atheist. He is a Vaishnava in the sense that is there the spiritual world the people worship and the worship is a part of normal life. So the Brajavas is not that they every morning wake up Krishna and do Aarti of Krishna. That is not feel that they wake up and they don't do any puja at all. It's a sacred place. It's not a sacred, it's a pious society. So in that sense, they worship Vishnu over there. But for them, it's not. It's almost like the center of their life is Krishna. Vishnu is a part of their life. Vishnu is worship and Krishna is protected. And when Ayodhya was this thing, Rama is the greatest. At that time, Sanatana Goswami doesn't pride in that. They're actually Maya. No, there's a transcendental subjectivity over there. The Ayodhya was this thing, Ram is the greatest. The Vaikuntha was this thing, Vishnu is the greatest. The Dwarka was this thing, Dwarka Krishna is the greatest. But this Gopal is never satisfied till he comes to Vrindavan. So they may be aware, but for them, their Aradhya Devi is the greatest. So the Vajivasana, Krishna is the greatest.
And like you say, with other religions, they don't have a specific time schedule for a god on a daytime what he has. But even Sanatana Dharma or in scriptures, they clear the
How is this related with this? It's like other
other
religions is a huge different subject.
religions.
Maybe you could do one thing, bro. There are two options because we already waste time. So we have to complete the Gopi Geet and maybe there's some question answers. When I go, maybe we could do an online class for this group sometime. We can schedule and then we can have question answer because I'm sure there will be questions that it's important that we address the okay. Once we start opening questions, we will have a lot of if you don't have a lot of questions, I will have a lot of questions. There will be some questions which come up. We should discuss them.
Only one.
Okay. You have the freedom to ask the question, and I have the freedom to not answer it.
You said that the speciality of gopis is that they don't desire anything in return. But the central theme of the gopi Geet is that
No. Okay, they don't desire anything. Did I say that? I said that there's always desiring, but there's no demanding. Did I say that in one of the?
anything in return for what they
No. Okay, maybe that's maybe I worded it wrongly or you understood wrongly. It is that what I mean is that they don't give up their love even if they get nothing in return. It's not that they don't want anything. See, love means reciprocation. See, the gopis are heartbroken when Krishna goes away. Now they go away, and later on also when he goes away. But now, see, if the object of our love goes away and we feel nothing, then our love is nothing, isn't it? The love is there, we should feel something. The gopis are devastated when Krishna goes away. And they want more than life that Krishna should come back. But because Krishna has gone away, they don't say, "You reject Krishna now. Krishna, you abandoned us, therefore we'll no longer love you." So in love, there will be naturally the reciprocation and expectation will be there. But the see where okay, let's put it this way. Actually, this is the theme of the next word. See, where there's love, there will be expectation. That's natural. But this is one sense unavoidable. But when there is unfulfilled expectation, if that generally leads to love being abandoned, love would say uh, dies and dies. Why should such a person who is not fulfilling my expectations? This is what is not according to this way. This is what happens normally. But in the case of the gopi, love not only remains, but it rises. The more Krishna is, the more is the longing for Krishna. So the greatness of their love is not that they don't have any experience of Krishna, but the greatness of their love is like even when Krishna does exactly the opposite of what they want to do, they don't give up Krishna. Yes, that's why Ashrishava Padaratam Vinashtuma Adarshana Marmahatam Karo Yatha Tatha Vidhatu Lampato Mat Prananathas Saimanam. That you may, they're talking about in that whole world, there are three possibilities they're talking about. You, Krishna, you embrace us with love, or you trample us underfoot, or you abandon us and leave us broken-hearted. Even in all such cases, Mat Prananathas, you are the Lord of my life. Tu Saiva Na Paraha. So that is the glory of the love. That Mahaprabhu is articulating the love of Radharani and the gopis for Krishna. Okay. So I think we'll recite this verse once and we'll stop here. And tomorrow we'll try to complete all the verses. We discussed the major thing that I had to discuss. And tomorrow we'll discuss one more theme, but we'll try to finish all the verses. And we will have one QA class online. You can see as per our schedule, we schedule it, and then we'll try to complete it. So you want to recite this verse once and then we'll finish. What option do we have?
No, today Koji has a class at
What time do we have to leave for the class? 10:15. Huh? Okay. You take one more then?
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe the next verse would have been better today because it's the same thing. Okay, let's do this one fast. Okay, in this particular verse, there are other points also, but let's move forward. So here, Atatiyat Bhavan Ahanikanana. So the gopis are saying, now, in one sense, Kavi Karanapur discussed that many times the gopis are like having a conversation with Krishna in their minds. Sometimes when we know someone very much, we love someone very much. Sometimes we can almost anticipate. If I speak this, this person will speak this. And then maybe I will counter it this way or I'll respond to it this way. So as the Gopi Krishna is saying that, oh, why are Krishna, they anticipate Krishna is saying, why are you making such a big hue and cry about me going away? Every evening you get my association, you see me. Why are you so desperate to see me again? Oh, the Gopis are saying, even when we see you, we can't see you. And what happens is, At the end of the day, Bhavan. So here again, that Bhavan is normally considered a respectful second person. Tvam is normal second person. Tu or aap. Atatiyat Bhavan Ahanikanana. So Ahani is that when you come back as the night sets, the Aharnisha, they said at the end of the day when you come back, Ahanikanana. So for us, when you're going out, Suti Yugayate Tvam Apashtam. Ahani is actually day. Aharnisha. Ahar is night. So Ahnikana, when the starting you go to forest, we see you initially, but after that, every moment is Suti Yugayate. And for them, for the gopis, because they have to persecution in the forest, so apachana, it's not strong visual people. The gopis are visual Krishna. They're always remembering Krishna. For them, they don't just want to remember Swam apashyatam. So one movement becomes like a yuga for us. Ulikshatam, Pakshmakridsham. So that they create eyes with eyelids. And eyelid is a blink. So we are not able to see. Now, this actually shows the intensity of love that exists. Even then, our darshan is there, but darshan is inter. Even then, we are not satisfied with Krishna. Yes. The nature love is being depicted that when there is love, there is even a small movement separation becomes utterly unbearable. It was not recently, maybe 7, 8 years ago. This cricket World Cup happened recently. Like that, it was some 2011 or something like that. I was traveling in India, and when we came out of the airport, we had to pass by a road, and then on one side was a TV, and there, like people crowded all around watching. And there's some place who are nearby, they think cannot be on the road, on side, and watching. Everybody watching. And just we just I was in a wheelchair, I just wanted to go through. The people were not letting anyone go through. Now in cricket, it's not that every moment is a high activity. The bowler runs back, the fielder throws the ball, and then for those who are also not such cricket fans, they might say, "It's a big deal about it." Right? For those who are into it, they can't understand how we can't understand.
Yeah.
It's so important. So here, when there is great affection, there is great in there, and a word itself is the okay, some cricket match is going on. That what is the big deal about it? Right? But when there is investment of emotion, that thing changes completely. The vision changes completely. So for the gopis, that emotion is invested so much in Krishna that their experience of the world is completely different. Now we all blink our eyes, but most of the time, not most of the time, almost all the time, we don't even notice we are blinking our eyes. It is the you see when I do some video recording at that time somehow actually I never notice. Sometimes you click a photo and sometimes your eyes are closed because of blinking or whatever, but that's rare. But uh, when I started doing some video recording, and then some people started, you're blinking your eyes too much.
Uh-huh.
I said, really? Then I look at it, first time I noticed I blink my eyes also. Yeah. The sense is that when I'm speaking, I'm so caught in speaking that see, even the blinking happens. It's designed in such a way that actually it does not interrupt with our functional vision. Hmm. So blinking happens, but we have that continuity of vision because it's so instantaneous. But there is great investment of emotion. As I said, the world is seen different. And it is not only noticed. The Kavi Karnapur says, Anandavan Champu. What he does is he doesn't just translate these verses, he elaborates on close. And we are we are not able to see you for even a fraction of a moment. We feel as if it is the end of the world. Just can't bear that even for a moment. So, and it's maybe for them, it's beholding Krishna is such an incessant flow of nectar. Just can't bear it. I was I suppose we are eating some food and then maybe there is our favorite delicacy. Maybe we like sweet rice and the sweet rice is there. And then you want to eat sweet rice. Somebody wants to talk. We talk. So we can talk and you can just want pure devotional service. I just want to experience the sweet rice. I don't want any distractions, no interruptions at all. So when some experience is extremely sweet, then somebody does like that. What we can understand, this person must really like sweet rice. That's something we easily understand. That. So similarly, just the fact that the gopis are thinking like this. There are three things over here. First of all, to notice that our eyes blink when we are functioning, that itself is a big thing. To get up from that is even bigger. But you must be really upset, criticize Brahmaji. Normally, in any tradition, traditional society, we don't criticize our elders. Yeah. And Brahmaji is the eldest, He's the first person in the universe. So the gopi, if you consider the gopis' angst is the agony, the distress. The extent of their angst is that even notice eye is blinking. That itself, most of us don't even notice it. But to get agitated by it, that is even more. But we all get agitated, but then we normally control our agitation. But agitated enough to criticize is Brahma. Brahma is not an ordinary person. The oldest person in the universe. This indicates how upset somebody is. So in the olden days, we had this Doordarshan. And then what is that? Interruption. What is that? The word was phrase would come now? Sorry.
रुकावट के लिए खेद है
Okay, we love our program. Some love the project. I feel like smashing this TV. They feel angry with the organizers. So, and like a small interruption, for the gopis is such a huge interruption. This indicates how much is their love for Krishna. So, this is Swam Apashyatam. We just want to see you. We want to behold you, Krishna. You want to, now, in the past, there was this poetic English, behold. Behold, actually, behold means basically to see. But it's generally the idea is it's to see something which is very attractive. We don't say, I want to behold the bus. See when the bus is coming. When you use the word behold, it is you. So, like in English, there is see, sorry, and behold. It's like in Sanskrit, there is Pashya and there is Darshan. We don't say, I want to have darshan of the bus. So, darshan is a very reverential word. So, now, of course, Pashya can be used as synonym for it, apashyatam, adarshatam, that can be similar. But behold is a special word. Prabhupada sometimes use this word behold. So, behold, what the English it means is that we hold something with our eyes. Now, if you go to Rameshwaram and we see the sunset, we don't just see the sunset, we behold the sunset. We hold it with our eyes. The gopis want to hold Krishna. Their eyes bring Krishna's beauty with their eyes. And that's why they just can't bear even one moment of separation. And the gopis, when they are criticizing Brahmaji for the eyelids. Then I had asked Srinivas Prabhu, are there eyelids that blink in the spiritual world? He said, no, everywhere you need someone to criticize. He just answered that question. So, but the point is that even that moment, first of all, it shows the extent of their love. It also shows that the gopis are so desperately eager for Krishna. And there are the principle of obstacles in love. That is a part of the spiritual world, especially of Parkya Rasa. Now, is the idea of the obstacle there? We don't know what is in the material, what is in the spiritual world. But the point is that the gopis are very intensely in love for Krishna. And then there's we have so here one more. The Truti Yuga Yate. At one moment starts feeling like a millennium. So this is I confirm one point. There is this question always that is there a time in the spiritual world? So now the answer to this question, like many questions, is no and yes, both. So no means that if you see time has, you could say broadly three functions. That is, through the agency of time, creation happens. Through the agency of time, deterioration happens. For maintenance of growth, production, all that are there. But deterioration happens and then destruction happens. Now, if you see the way Krishna defines time in the Bhagavad Gita is Kalosmi Lokakshay Krut Pravrittam. Time I am the destroyer of the world. So now you could say time I am the creator of the world also. time I am the maintainer of the world also. That is also there. Specifically in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, time is manifesting in the form of destruction. So in the spiritual world, time is not there in the sense that see, we feel time primarily in terms of its deteriorating, its destruction. It's like generally, even no matter how old a person is, you don't say you look old. You look young, we say, we don't say anything. So the destructive, the deteriorating, and destructive feature of time. That is what is feared in this world. These features, they are not there in the spiritual world. So in that sense, we could say time does not change things. So that the Maharaja and Yashoda, they are middle-aged, but they eternally stay middle-aged. They don't grow old in the spiritual world. So there are Krishnas, the Manjaris, they are eternally at a particular age. They're eternally pre-present. And Krishna, the Gopis, and Krishna, they are eternally rich. So that is the way of eternally in the spiritual world. So time does not determine the story. But time is present in the spiritual world in the sense that time out relatedness. So, for example, morning nature is different. Daytime nature is different. Beauty of nature is different. The beauty of nature at night is different. So, day and night are there in the spirit. So, this analysis of the solves the variation of time. Now, having said that, now time does not have a control. So, in this material world, time not this cyclic. So, it's not that as Krishna there, because Krishna can expand one moment to be like a plane. So in that sense, not does control that, not controls time. Of course, Krishna wants to create patience and time. Okay, now go back and do this, do that. Like time, the spiritual world. The pressure is there for us. No, I have to take this much time. So that time pressure, no time pressure in the spiritual world. But time is simply there as an enhancement of Krishna Lila, as an enhancer